So now we're going to move into marketing from the inside out. And that is really about taking the essence of you to the brand of you and starting to do it in a way that is, this is so weird, sorry. My arrows are sending me in the wrong direction. So, we've talked about this, basically the strengths of your passions, who you are, the essence of you, into the brand of you. And now we are going to get into more of this intuitive marketing mastery, a marketing mix aligned to who you are. And for me, this is all about connecting with the people you want to reach. How do you get out? How do you find them? How do you find the tribe that you've set out as, this is the tribe I want to be working with. This is my dream clients. And you've gotten some clarity around, what it is that drives them, what speaks to them. And that really starts to build out your marketing message. So when you're thinking about how you market, how you go out into the world, how you share your voice, one of the things I want you to think about is what lights you up. Where's your magic, and where do you shine best? And this is a place of expansiveness, right? And I'll give you a few examples. I started my podcast just over a year ago, and or just under a year ago. And one of the things I figured out, I love to tell people stories. I love to bring stories out. I love to have this space where I'm having this deep, deep conversation with people. And so thus my podcast was born. It's like, I can tell you, when I get on a podcast interview, it just lights up my whole day. And for those of you who saw my blog post earlier this week, I had a really crappy day on Tuesday. I had a horrendous day that all kinds of things just fell apart. And I had a podcast interview that afternoon. And I was like, oh my God, can I do this? I'm in just such a dark space right now. Can I do this? And I was like, no, I can do this. I love doing this. And I got on, and it was like this highlight of my moment of the day, right? I was in a place of working on my marketing, working on my business that lit me up. And I could totally show up for that. And the days that, my most days are not in a dark space. Most of my days are in a very bright space. And so if you're adding in something that you love to do into a very bright space of a day, it's a benefit. And so if you're going to spend a lot of time marketing your business, that's the bottom line, right? You've got to love how you choose to market your business. Another way for me is the connection piece, because the connection is part of what my business stands for. And when I think about connection, that's why I do my Extraordinary Women Connect events, because it connects people. I love to connect great people to great people. I love to be in a room full of wonderful, amazing women. And so, what are the things that really put you into this place of expansion? So here's something to think about. I want you to look at this chart and think about the different ways that, one, you consume data. How do you consume data? Do you consume it in video? Do you consume it in audio? Live events? Do you like to read? Do you like to do webinars? What are the ways that you consume data most? Just jot those down, whatever shows up most for you that you like to consume, how you like to consume the data. And then two, what kind of content do you like to create? Do you have fun creating video? Do you have fun creating audio? Do you have fun creating live events? Do you have fun creating, do you love to write? Do you like to do webinars? Which are your top one or two? And then
we haven't done all of these yet because we're scared and we don't know how to do them all.
Oh, I love you that you asked that question.
I have all the webinar topics. I have ideas for like the how-to video series. Like I want a podcast like yours, but same, but different.
Mm-hmm.
Like I see it all.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know where to start. Therefore, it isn't started.
Which ones do you consume the most?
Probably video.
Okay. And
And live events.
Yeah, I think that's a really good place for you to start. It's not to say you can't do the others and bring the others in. I think, if you would really focus on doing, in fact, the live stream piece, I think for you, a Facebook live stream on a regular basis would be fantastic for you. And, our mastermind group has, we have like one of the top live streamers coming in March to come to speak to you guys about live streaming. And
that's March 20. When is it again?
Like yeah, off the top of my head, I don't know, but it is like towards the end of March, and she's fantastic.
Okay, good, because I was out of town that week before, so I think it's right when I get back.
Okay, so that, if those two are kind of showing up the kind that you most consume, I would say put your focus there. The other pieces can come later if you feel a need to it. But absolutely, but I also appreciate the fact that some of these feel scary, right? And
like a webinar shouldn't feel scary, but I just haven't done one before, therefore it feels scary.
Okay, that's totally fine. And I totally remember the first webinars I did. I was like, oh my God, it's the technology, and you get past it. Yes. You really do, and that just comes with practice. And then if you can practice, I started practicing with my clients, and that's where, it's like the more I did it with people that already knew, love, and trusted me, it was a very safe place to do it in, so you can do it in multiple ways, but choose the ones that you consume most. And then I think the last piece of this for all of you to really look at is what, and this is really, really important, because if you love to do it and you consume it, but your clients don't, it's not the right place for you to put your focus. If none of your clients ever watch video, then you wouldn't want to do that. If none of your clients ever read written word, if most of them don't, that's not the right place for you. So it's those three trifecta, is that the right word? Coming together and understanding what you consume, what you have fun creating, and making sure that your clients consume that. So
I have a quick question.
Sure.
How do I know what my clients prefer?
You ask. You just ask them.
Okay.
Yeah, you just ask them. What do you use most? I can tell you right now, I'm one that actually rarely watches video. If there's video on a Facebook feed or, I rarely ever watch video. And if I do watch video, I rarely watch it with the sound on, because I sometimes will wake up early in the morning and I'm kind of waiting for my husband to wake up. So I'll kind of be flipping through Facebook or something. And if there's words that are scrolling underneath of it that I can read without the sound on, I might watch it. But if it's one where I've got to go find a headset to listen to it so I don't wake up my husband, I'm not going to watch it. So I rarely watch video. So it's just, getting clear about what you do. And then the other piece of this is knowing what stage of business that you're in. And this is, are you just out of the gate? I'm going to look at this over here. Are you just out of the gate? Are there not enough dollars? And so these are just some ways to look at this. You can look at it. There's not enough dollars quite yet to support your customers. You're testing your product, your concepts. Your sales aren't totally flowing yet. Your products are probably pretty individually focused. And your biggest strategic goal is understanding your clients' most urgent wants and needs and having conversations about it. And the types of marketing that you would want to be doing if this was the place of your business is you want high touch relationships. You want to be out networking. You want to be having word of mouth. You want to be creating strategic alliances. So, Kathy, this is a great example for you from a strategic alliance perspective. You've got Mary, who's in North Carolina, and she's a strategic alliance for you because she already has a whole group of people for you to take your services to. That's a great strategy for you coming just out of the gate with your business. So just know that when you're first getting started, you don't need to go try to build complex, models of how to go market yourself. You probably don't even need to, you probably don't need to be doing webinars early on. You want those face-to-face connections. And then after your business moves into that next stage of the basics where the dollars are starting to flow in, but they're not totally supporting your business yet. And you've gotten some good customers who love you, and you just don't have enough yet. And the sales you're getting some yeses, but you're not getting them as consistently as you like. And you're probably still very focused on individual products. So you're selling one-to-one kind of products to people. And you're great at the funnel. You're getting great at the funnel, and you're bringing people to the close, right? You're bringing people into your business. You're having conversations, and you're having regular success with your closes. So you can do any of the things that are from a marketing program perspective. You can do anything of the high touch relationship, anything in that first column. And I shouldn't be pointing with my finger. I should point with my mouse. You can do the high touch relationships, but then, some other things that you can be bringing into it's like, where can you speak one to many so that you get out of the individual, as a conversation that we were having yesterday, Carlin, about coffee, right? It's like, okay, how many more freaking coffees do I need to have?
Yeah.
And start getting out and looking for the opportunities to be speaking one to many. How do you do a strategic pursuit? Who are the clients I'd love to have? How do you create a community, that is your community? I can tell you Extraordinary Women Connect, that those events came about because I wasn't seeing exactly the tribe of people that I wanted to find. So I created my own. Trade shows, social media, so really finding what works in your niche, in your market. And there you're testing, you're trialing. It's like, where are people coming to me? And you're figuring that out. And then you get to the stage of your business where you do have enough dollars to support your business. You've got this, right? And you have a solid base of referral clients who are sending you new clients. And the flow to you is usually on track. But sometimes sometimes it can do this. And sometimes you might even feel like you have too many clients, where you're starting to be stretched too thin. And you're hitting like a 30 to 50% close ratio on all the conversation you're having with people because you've really mastered the sales process. And you can start to leverage with groups at this point. You're moving out of the individual focused conversations or clients, and you're starting to have more groups so that you can serve more people, that you're more scalable in what you do. And then here, your biggest strategic goal is really to leverage repeatable and proven processes for expansion. So what's worked for you, you're constantly going back and you're checking. I go back and I look at what worked last year. What do I need to do more of? How do I create more of that kind of openness? And again, you can use any of these, marketing that has been working for you across these first ones, but start to move into more joint ventures. You can do internet marketing. You can do media, very focused media and PR campaigns. You can publish a book. You can advertise. But that's, you're starting to, master whatever has been working for you in your business. And then you get to the next evolution of your business. And this is an opportunity to grow to a new level. And there's new growth opportunities. There's new lines of business. I have a client right now that really started in a very specific niche. And now she's ready to go take this to an entirely new niche. I mean, we're talking from horses to people and athletes. So, so she's going to a whole new niche. So it's a whole new side of her business that's ready to roll out. And she's leveraging and replicating some of the things that she's learned over the course of time. And she's creating multiple streams of revenue in her business and multiple products. And her focus, her business strategy is a longer term strategy. So somebody might be looking at an exit strategy, for example, or train the trainer models, or, how do I expand, a group that I bring together on a regular basis to all across the nation, that sort of thing. And there, what you see when people get into this level, they are rarely doing all these things. They've actually mastered a few ways that they bring new clients in. They've either mastered a sales funnel in speaking, or they've mastered a sales funnel in Facebook ads and webinars. So that's where you start to see more of that kind of thing. So the question I have for all of you is to think about, where are you? And you, as a small business owner, you can't do everything. This is so important. There's only so many hours in the day, and none of us went into being entrepreneurs to go work an 80-hour a week. Not one of us. And so what are 3 things that you can do in your business based on kind of where you are in that pipeline, right? Are you in the high touch relation place? Are you ready to step into the one to many? Are you expanding? Are you in the mastery components of it? What are 3 marketing strategies that you might leverage in the next year? So I want you to pick 3 approaches that really feel like could be useful for you to grow your business. And just jot those down. What are some of the approaches you guys are going to take? I spoke a lot, so just kind of toss out what approaches you think you might take.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Oh, absolutely.
I am very, very interested in doing trade shows. I am also very interested in connecting to big retail companies, even though that's going to be difficult to reach out to them. I will try 1,000 times to get one of them to sell my product.
Right.
So, but is it, since I'm at the beginning of this company, establishing this company, should I actually kind of postpone that? And right now, what I'm doing is networking and just getting referrals and those kind of stuff.
The strategic alliances right here, Mine, is this, right?
Yeah.
That totally fits there. It's like if you could get a Nordstrom's to pick up your line of jewelry, holy moly, that would take your business to a whole new level, right?
Right.
So that I think is absolutely correct what you're thinking there. And I also think for you, I think trade shows, because I think trade shows makes perfect sense for you.
Okay. Thank you, Kimmy.
Yeah. And so these are guidelines. And I think this is what's really important. These are guidelines, you guys. If you guys are really drawn to something, go explore it. Go, if it's something you love to do, go. These are guidelines. There's nothing here that says, don't cross into this phase before you cross into this phase. It's just a guideline for you to build off of. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes, definitely. Thanks.
Okay. What else? Who else has thoughts or questions on that? Okay. Well, let's move on then. And then the question I'd ask you is, what do you need to do to get extraordinary at those marketing approaches that you just wrote down. And, even my masterminders, I encourage you to go, you can get a lot of stuff from, what we do in this year together. But if you really want to get extraordinary at one of the, your key ways of approaching, how you're bringing clients into your business from, if you choose that you want to be great in video, for example, go follow some of the great video masters. Find out how people are building YouTube channels. Find out how the masters are doing live stream. Because I'm not a master in live stream, and I never will be. So, that's why we're actually bringing in an expert source next month, because that's a great opportunity right now in the world of social media is live streaming. So let's bring in somebody who knows how to do it, best world-class kind of stuff. And that's what I would encourage all of you to do is like, whatever it is, whatever way that you want to be great at. If you want to be an amazing speaker, go work with the best speaking coach you can find. That sort of thing. So that you're integrating what you're doing in your business, in your strategic planning, in your branding, in your marketing, but you're finding that one channel that you want to really master, and making space to do that. So this is some of my favorite stuff that I've been working with recently. And I want to start with a statement about what good brands, all good brands must have. And we're going to be talking a little bit about thought leadership and how do you go out and be seen and be heard as the leader in your space in a way that you're recognized for what you do best. So, we've gone down this pathway, we've decided who you want to work with, how you want people to experience your brand, how you're going to go out and be in reaching your brand. And now it's that voice of how you want to be heard. How do you build a brand as a thought leader in the space that you want to own? And all good brands are going to have personality associated with them. So I don't care what kind of brand you are, you're going to have some sort of a brand personality. And you started to tap into that, for example, with the animals you guys were talking about, right? With Mine's description of what an elephant meant to her, we all started to get a feel for what we want the personality of her brand, the energy of her brand to feel like. So all good brands are going to have personality. They're going to have an energy associated with them. They're going to have a credibility associated with them. And there's going to have knowledge associated with them. And the reason I'm really driving this point home, because I'm going to turn this onto a next slide, and there's going to be different types of brands that are out there. And there's going to be 4 different types that you're going to be looking at. And those 4 different types are going to all have personality, energy, credibility, and knowledge. They're going to have a different spectrum of that. And they're going to have a different focus in that brand on how people show up on these different ways. So when I go to the slide and I say we have personality brands and expert brands and industry cause brands and company brands, I want you to know that each one of these has these things. It has personality. So the expert brand has personality, has energy, it has credibility, it has knowledge. The personality brand has personality, has energy, it has credibility, it has knowledge. So just keep that in mind as you look at these. And I've been studying and working with thought leaders for a lot of years. In fact, when I was in the corporate world, I was really fortunate to get to run a thought leadership development program in our company where we took about 150 people through a process that I got to help develop and lead. It was my favorite program that I ever did in all of the corporate world. It was called the Expert Source Program. And it was about taking the experts in our company and getting them out to be seen, to be heard, and known in their space, their unique individual spaces, in ways that brought credibility to them and also the credibility to our brand as a company. And it was the most, I had a multi-million-dollar budget. I got to work with Ogilvy PR on developing this program. We took 150 people through it. It changed careers. during that time where people really got to be known. I mean, it's like today, a lot of those people that we took through that program are leading experts that are featured on, you know, national and global news, on the topics that they trained on this, you know, 10 years ago. So it's really rewarding for me to be able to see that people went through that process and were able to go out and do the work that they do today. And in the world as an entrepreneur, I also see all types of brand types that are out there. And I want you guys all to start thinking about your type of brand type. And I'm going to start with a personality brand. So Oprah's a great personality brand, right? And it's like, we get Oprah. She's got a big energy. She's all about, you know, creating this spiritual wisdom that she likes to bring out on her programs. She, you know, it is about, I mean, her brand is Oprah, right? And it's pretty clear that her brand is all about Oprah. Richard Branson's another great one. You know, we know what Richard Branson feels like. He does like really bizarre things. He loves the energy of creating and following his dreams and being innovative. He has islands, he has jets, he has, you know, you get Richard Branson's brand. It's about lifestyle. There's a level of energy that kind of comes in with these personality brand types. You know, so over here we have more kind of an expert brand, and these were kind of the brands I was building when I was back in the corporate world, where I had people who were experts in alternative energy, for example, or natural gas in Asia. Or I mean, not even Asia. That's not even true. Natural gas in North America, or what's going on in China's gas situation, right? So I had experts around the world that were coming from different space. I was working in the energy space. So Warren Buffett is a good one. And boy, my mind just went. Sheryl Sandberg. Sheryl Sandberg. So these are very person-specific brands. They're very smart brands. They are serious brands. They are professional brands. They are subject matter experts. They're the kind of content that they might be sharing with the world, with their audiences, might be very factually based. It might be putting some opinion on, you know, where are the financial markets going next year? You know, so bringing very factual kind of thoughts and real serious kind of conversations. So these are, do you guys get the feeling between the differences of these? That what kind of, and Oprah is going to put out, you know, how do you really tap into that light within you? You know, you get different kinds of messages from these types of brands. And then you get into causes. So Kara, you were talking about causes that, you know, you're working with a lot of causes. And, you know, there's an advocacy component. There's built around a cause or a community of common interest. So last year I was really fortunate to get to play on the branding committee for the Women's Foundation of Colorado. And I can tell you that brand, figuring out what the personality of the Women's Foundation brand was so much fun. I just dug into the, you know, if the Women's Foundation were a person, who might it be? And, you know, how do you evolve what, you know, an older brand that was going to be a newer brand for the future? So it was really a fun evolution there, but it was cause-based. You know, Sarah Bonenkamp leads a lot of the beef industry branding components. So how do they be, you know, what's happening in the world of the beef industry, that, you know, it's really supporting that, you know, there's a lot of changing things happening in the beef industry, you know, perceptions, there's conversations around antibiotics, there's conversations around, is it organic? Is it not organic? So there's all kinds of things that are going on in that space. And then there's a brand of, and there's a lot of opinions there, right? And there's personalities associated with it, and there's experts associated on it. And then you've got, you know, like Lonely Planet, like a great brand of of a company brand where it's all about the experience as you're traveling. Nike's another great one for, creating energy around it. And so can you all agree, first of all, that these brands all have personality, all have energy, all have credibility, all have knowledge? They just have them in a different sense. Thumbs up? Yeah, good. So my question for you is, where do you fit in the spectrum? And I'd love to have you open up your line and just say where you think you fit, and let's have a discussion around that.
I think I'm a company brand.
Mine, is that you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's me.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think, and I think your company brand will be, because you're going to have jewelry, but you're going to also have other Turkish type products coming in, whether it's, shawls or, rugs or anything like that. So I totally agree. I think it's a perfect space. So you'll be wanting to think about, how does that company brand evolve?
Right.
Good. Who else?
Well, I can see my product in a little bit of all of it, but if I had to choose one, I would say industry.
So tell us what you do,
food
Lee.
nutrition.
So tell everybody what you do. So
I own a Juice Plus. I own a Juice Plus franchise, which is a whole food supplement.
Okay. And where did you say you're going to be?
I think the industry or cause, it's, to inspire healthy living, education about how what we eat and drink impacts our health and wellness.
Okay, you could do that. You could also really build upon this personality brand where, yes, you're within a Juice Plus franchise, whatever the right word is.
Yeah, franchise.
But are there things that you're doing to build your personality?
Totally. And that would have been my first thing, just because I do pour my personality into my business to make it, a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. And if you're out speaking, you might be speaking on health and wellness and want to be known as that health and wellness expert. Or, you could lead with the company brand. I think there's a choice there. I mean, if you were always leading with Juice Plus,
and I'm not.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I would lean you this way then.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that one felt the most comfortable to me. So
yeah, because you had to be you, and then people are going to be buying from you and your stories. And then yes, the Juice Plus is what you bring to the table, but it's your stories that people are going to come to.
That's really true.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay. Thanks, Cammie. I like that.
Yeah. Who else?
This is Kathleen. I'm a little confused.
Okay.
I run a program called Horse Hungry that connects women to horses, to their own spirituality, and to other like-minded women. So as far as the energy and the interest, it seems like personality brand, but I don't want it to be about me, and I don't think I have the personality for it.
I would argue on that.
Okay.
Because everybody has a personality.
Maybe not the desire then. Thank you.
Okay.
But then it could also be a cause around horses and around finding and claiming and acting on your passion, which is my mission, is to help women do that.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I would argue, and this is me coming from the space of, I do equine guided retreats too, right? So I get what you do. And I think a lot of what happens in our industry as equine guided coaches is that people go, it's really cool to work with horses and get coached and be women connecting together, that sort of way. But they lose sight of helping, going back to what we were talking about earlier of who's that client that I'm helping, what are the problems I'm helping them solve, and how am I helping them through that? And the reason they buy from you is because it's because of you. It's not because people that you're going to have a core group of clients that people are going to keep coming to you saying, yeah, it's cool to work with horses. It's cool. I want to experience this. But the longer evolution of what your brand stands for really means that you own who you are in creating that kind of an experience and kind of an environment. And if you want to speak about the care of the horses and the animals, it's your opinion that's flowing from that. Is that true?
Yes, based on the environment I work in at Happy Dog Ranch.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I would encourage you to explore this a little bit. I would encourage you to explore this personality brand. And you don't have to, here's the deal is you don't have to go be, I can't go be Tony Robbins, right? I am not a Tony Robbins kind of speaker. That is not me. Tony Robbins is totally a personality brand. I get up on stage and I have this ability to be able to connect and be me in my skin, my own skin. So when I talk about personality brand, this of all places goes back to who are you at your very essence. If you have this calm, beautiful essence about you and you have this thread of passion that really helps, tie women, help women be uplifted, for example, that can be what your personality brand stands about. And you could do all of your connection through being out in the barn. At the end of the day, I can tell you some of the best things that I do come from being out in my barn. So I totally get that kind of a space of I'm really at my best when I'm working with clients with horses. There's some really magical, mystical crap that happens. And so I would encourage you to explore this. And what would it look like for you, Kathleen, that would keep it true and real for you? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Who else?
Hello.
Hi.
This is Liz. So I was looking at the expert brand and the company brand, and the interesting thing is because the company is a product, I'm like, well, I am a consultant, so my product is my expertise, right?
Yeah. So what do you do, Liz?
My service, public relations, marketing, communication.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. And so your product is your expertise in that space of how do you go out in public relations and help your clients that space, right?
Yeah. Getting the story told.
Yeah. That's totally your space is the expert brand. Agree with that.
Which is really interesting because I don't think of myself as an expert.
I know. And that's the point, right? And just, just like Kathleen was like, well, I don't want to be that personality brand. And I'm like,
right?
You just get to be you. That's the beauty of it, right? And that's that, remember when we first started out, we talked about, lighting up that light of you and sharing your light with the world, whatever that light looks like. It doesn't have to, fit the perception of, for example, a Warren Buffett. It's,
right.
It's your brand of what expert brand looks like.
I think I would sink back into the idea of knowledge.
Yes.
And using that knowledge for insight.
Yes. Yes.
That's impactful. And that's where I would feel comfortable.
Awesome. Who else?
I just think I'm a personality. I don't know what it is. I feel like strangers to friends. I mean, this is where I always struggle. Like I am the founder of Strangers to Friends, and Strangers to Friends is a company/cause brand.
It's all you. It's all you, honey.
I know. I don't know how to structure it all.
It's you are here squarely 100%, and Strangers to Friend is a product of yours. But even as they said last night at your event, cultural. This is you. You're making that event what it is.
Yeah. But you realize though, my vision is for the community to grow. And it not be me. It's empowering others to be Strangers to Friends facilitators and for it to become its own thing. But I am the trainer,
good point,
head of it in a sense, because I want to I don't want to keep giving fish I want to teach to fish.
There you go. So that part would become, I would say probably a company brand.
That would be company. But right now it's personality.
Right now it needs to be personality, because you go back to that, where are you in your stage of business? You've got to be, it's all about, you've got to do this in a way that it grows your business to the level that you want it to before you can expand it out to this, right?
Yeah. And I've always aligned myself. I'm like, it's Oprah, Carlin. Like, we don't need our last names. It's only, there's no one else like us.
Yeah. Well, you notice what my brand said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So I love it. Okay. Who else? Denise?
This is Casey.
Okay, Casey.
Oh,
Good.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think I'm a cause brand.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think that fits because you're gathering stories of other people. You're not putting yourself out there as the lead of that brand. And you are, I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
Okay.
And so when you think about cause, you're going to still have, you know, the personality of it. You're going to have the types of content that you want to be putting out there. You know, that's all going to be available to you from that perspective. But I think you're spot on.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, who else Kathy, we haven't talked to you. Do you have an idea what yours is?
I would believe I would fall under the expert brand. You know, in my prior role, I fulfilled that role under a company brand, but now that it's either aligned with a partnership or solo, I fall under the expert category, I believe.
Yeah, I totally agree. Good job. Denise, what about yours?
I'm expert brand.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. Kara.
Am I unmuted?
Now we can hear you.
Hello?
Yep. Uh-huh.
Okay, sorry. I'm struggling a little bit because I think there's a cause element, but then also I think partly in the expert category too for some of the components. So
yeah, I think you're totally in an expert brand because you're not actually the cause, you're supporting the causes.
Okay.
And so your expertise of helping a nonprofit or a foundation, you know, evolve to their next thing, it's your knowledge that's going to be really driving that.
Got it.
Okay, awesome. Deanne, I don't think we've heard from you. You still there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Uh-huh. Well, what is yours?
Okay. In my current work, it's definitely expert, so the subject matter expertise.
And what is your current work?
To go?
Yeah.
Disaster recovery.
Oh, yes. I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew that.
Which
you're totally in that space. So
yeah,
but where do you want to be?
I am, and I do it well, but I'm wanting to leave it.
Yeah, so where do you want to be?
And to start a business of reconnecting families. And my original vision was more, you know, a workaholic parent, spouse, reconnecting. And I date a soldier, and he and I have come to share this vision and want to take that more to that audience, which has completely thrown my business plan on its end.
Okay.
So I think in that arena, it will be more industry or cause. But everything I do, I have a strong personality. Everything I do, you know, starts with the personality driven, but it's going to have to, I think, for the
so when you
retreat
say
is what it started out as.
When you talk about the model, what your business will stand for, it's about reconnecting families so that they're not they're not being workaholics, right? They're coming back. And so, and you and your husband want
Right.
to do it together, you said?
Yes.
I would totally put you in the personality brand. You guys have an incredible story
Okay.
to tell, and you can build a
Okay.
personality brand with two people, right? There's some really cool couples out
Okay.
there that do some really amazing personality brand kind of work that might be about relationships. It might be so, you know, two people can totally build a personality brand, but it's built around your stories and your wisdom and, you know, how you want to go help them. Which means that that's your branding, you know, you're branding yourself as a couple and and your stories.
Right. Right. Cool. Thanks.
Cool. So did I get everybody? I think I did. Cool. Cool. Well, this is fun. And why this is important is because then you can start to say, you know, as let's just take a social media strategy, for example. If you were building the social media strategy to go out and tell, you know, to be seen, to be heard in your message that you want to be sharing with the world, if you were a personality brand, you're going to be telling a lot of your story. You're going to be saying, you know, these were the things that really happened to me, and why I can help serve you. And you're going to be sharing probably more of your public life, in a ways that, you know, this is the lifestyle that I'm living. This is why it's changed for me. This is why it's, you know, that being seen is going to be starting to open yourself up to your world and the personality perspective and what you're trying to help your clients through. An expert brand, and I think a great example of this is a woman that I just adore. Her name is Tamara McCleary, and she's actually going to be a speaker at the Extraordinary Women Connect event come May. She's one of my Circle of Inspiration facilitators, and she is an expert in the world of social media and helping chief marketing officers. And everything that she puts out on Twitter, everything that she puts out on Facebook is about the leading, cutting edge, what's happening in marketing. This is the technology that's happening in marketing. You need to know about artificial intelligence. You need to know about Bitcoin. You need to know about all. So she is constantly putting out a whole lot of information that is very smart. It's very statistical. It's cutting edge. It's leading edge, and what's happening in that space. And rarely, on occasion, she shares a bit of what happens in her life personally. She shares that she's traveling around the world, and she does that a lot, actually. She shares that she's traveling around the world. She's talking to all these groups. That's part of her brand, right? But rarely is she showing the deeper personal side in her social media kind of things. It's more focused on that sort of thing. An industry cause, you know, there's partnerships, there's, you know, Women's Foundation is a great example for me to speak to because I'm so involved with it. The Women's Foundation will do, you know, so we're constantly, our social media team is constantly putting out things that are what's happening in the world of women. You know, here's a great article on women. Here's some new statistics that showed up in the world of women. You know, building community in this kind of a space. You know, a company brand, a Lonely Planet, for example, is going to be showing things that really fit to that brand. You know, it's going to be all about travel. Mine was talking, this could be her part of, you know, this is part of her focus is going to be a company. So she might be sharing things because her products are all from Turkey and they're being imported into the US. And you may be telling stories about, you know, things that happened in Turkey or Turkey culture or educational things that really tie to that essence of your brand of what you stand for. And that's what's really important in the mix of understanding where you fit in this. Okay. So we're roaring down to the end of this. This is just a question is, you know, you create this voice. Where would you love to be featured? Where would you love to be covered? Where would you love your products to be seen in 2018? Jot down whatever comes up for you. this is an excellent TED Talk that I recommend all of you to go look at. If you haven't seen it, if you have seen it, go watch it again. It's Simon Sinek. It's start with why, how great leaders inspire action. When you're creating your marketing and message, if you are starting with the why versus the what it is that you do, you're going to get to really strong marketing message. Highly, highly recommend that. Your brand is a series of stories and customer experiences, and you have all sorts of things that you talk about, and I'm not going to be able to have time to go into this in depth today, but this is starting to create your content platform. What are the things you want to be known for? What are your stories associated with it? Who are the influencers in that, and what are the subtopics? So for me, branding and marketing is something that I want to be known for. This is one of my what's that I teach, right? I have some really strong stories in brand. I want to help people tap into who they are from their essence, from their make sure that they're really working towards their passions. That's another one of my what's my story with that? Who are the influencers in that space? This is more complex stuff that, as we move into content. How do you create a content strategy? Because we could all go talk about a whole lot of things in the spectrum of our personality brand or our thought leadership brand, but what are the things you want to be known for? And how do you grow off of that? So a good way to even just sit down, again, I'm a big fan of mind mapping, is just say, okay, what are the things I want to talk about in this year? Where do I want to talk about them? And what are my stories associated with those? So it doesn't have to be this complicated as looking as this. I can just take a big sheet of paper and just draw out, what are the things you want to talk about and be known for that support your business and where you're going. I'm not going to talk about that. And what this is, I'm not going to go there. So really it's you can create content in a whole lot of different ways: blogs, events, video, webinars, memes, web, book and ebooks, all these different ways you can create content on what you're known for, what you're an expert in. And what I would suggest to you, and I can tell you right now, I haven't been as good at this as I'd like to be, is I go create something and then it gets posted and I don't re-leverage that content. My goal to myself this year is really to better leverage the content that I create. If I create a podcast, what are the pieces that are going to feed into memes and social media? If I create an event with a whole lot of content, how do I take that same content and create a blog or create a meme or create a webinar with it? That's why I opened up this call today, because this is content that I love, I'm passionate about. And, I hand selectively said, I'd like to bring some of you in so that you get to get exposure to some of this content that I have. And I'm going to continue to look for ways to leverage the content that I have. And skip that. So this is where we've come today. We started with your why, the why of what you want to do, the who of who you want to serve. We worked into your client love language. We worked from your essence into your business essence. We started to work on some of your messaging, and then how are you going to take your messaging out? What tools? How are you going to brand yourself? What kind of a brand you're going to be? That's been the journey that we've been going through here. And before I want to just open it up to any questions that you guys have as we wrap up here. We've covered a whole lot in these 3 hours, and I really appreciate your staying through here and hanging in here for 3 hours. What questions come up for you?
I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
I am not clear about finding out my client's love language.
Okay.
How do I just ask them to?
Yeah, I would start to, Yeah, because you're right. You're a little bit different. That they're not necessarily figuring out a problem and an issue, but they are. So you're gonna, really get. I would go start having conversations with people, saying, how does this jewelry make you feel? How do these colors, these products make you feel? And start to play and learn from that.
I love that.
Okay, good question.
Okay.
Good question. Who else? Lee, you're not.
It's a lot to absorb. I'm going to go get a quiet space and go through all this.
Yeah. And I
really appreciate you doing it.
It is a whole lot of information to come to you at once. And like I said, this took me, this is the process that I went through last year over the course of the year. And, so give yourself space to do that. The other thing is, and of course, many of you are already in the mastermind group with me. I do have, if you want to talk to me about the mastermind group, I would love to have conversations with you. This is what some of the teachings we have coming up in the pipeline. We're going to be talking about how to take all this kind of information we've just walked through and start to craft your signature story. How do you create that emerging expert voice of you and what you want to stand for, and what are the key topics that you stand for? How do you take this content that I started to show, these content strategies, so that you're really building content that supports your brand in a way that's aligned to the type of brand that you are? What's your social media strategy? And how are you, what tools are you going to be using in social media? We have Sarah Bonacamp is actually going to lead a lot of that social media strategy, because she's such a great social media person. And then we also have some guest speakers coming in from who's going to teach about Facebook ads, and we're going to a guest speaker teaching about live streaming. And then we covered, do you have a book in you? What wants to flow from you? How do you fall in love with sales? How do you really get good at that sales process and do it in a way that's aligned to who you are, so that it feels really natural, that it feels like it's a conversation versus a pitch kind of thing. How do you attract more clients into your business through mastering the art of event marketing, speaking, webinars? Those are some of the topics that we cover over the course of the year that, that follow this. But we had several new mastermind members who had just come on, who hadn't had the opportunity to go through this content. And I wanted to make sure that they were in the space of my other clients. And that's why we hosted this today. And, this is kind of the arc way that we go on. And I would love to speak to any of you who aren't part of my mastermind and want to learn more about what that looks like. It's a pretty incredible group of women. And I love getting to be in community multiple times a month with this really incredible group of entrepreneurs. So with that, that's been a lot, and I appreciate all of your participation and sharing and going deep and listening to what's inside. And that's the trick, the beauty to all of this is, yes, we got into some more linear kind of things towards the end of this, but where the magic is, keep remembering, is that inner wisdom and being able to trust what's really, what are you being drawn to? What are you not being drawn to? What feels light? What feels heavy? Making choices for your business that are really aligned to what's in your heart and what's in your soul. So with that, I thank you all very much. And, feel free to reach out to me if you have questions or thoughts. And, if there's anything that, you want to chat about afterwards, just reach out to me and we can chat. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. My brain is just swimming too much.